I don't know what to do about my hair. There we go. Adam Savage and Adam Savage in my cave, and we are traveling outside my comfort zone today because I am sculpting a face. I have a cosplay I want to do. And in order to do it, I'm going to need to turn myself into an old woman. I want to do one of the Bene Gesserit from Dune. Yeah. I love those costumes. I'm like on a Renee April kick right now. She's the costume designer for Dune and Blade Runner 2049. She's totally amazing. And the Bene Gesserit costumes that Charlotte Rampling and other actresses wore in Dune, just magnificent, really, really magnificent. I want to do the whole costume, but it begins with the face. And I want to sculpt an old woman's face over mine and make a papier-mâché mask. So what I'm going to do is I've got some beautiful soft Chavant plastilina, plasticine clay, oil-based clay. I am going to, I'm going to sculpt it over top of my face here. This is me at 27 years old, by the way. Here you go. I wasn't wearing these glasses back then. At 27, I was working for Jamie. That would be 1994. My math is bad. My math is so bad. Oh my God, the video of me making the Sapper Morton thing. Sorry about that. Anyway, I was 27, working for Jamie. I had shaved my beard and my hair to be part of a photo essay from a friend of mine who's a photographer. And we decided at Jamie's shop, me and Ralph Miller, who was a model maker there at the time. Ralph is the one who gave me the joke from Dungeon Master, I reject your reality and substitute my own. At any rate, Ralph and I and Jamie conspired to do this casting of me out of alginate. And this is the last casting I have left. And I've used it, as you can see from all the drawings across the face, I've used it for several different problem-solving masks and such. Someday I will rebuild the ears and recast this because it is a good casting. Before all of this crap. So what I am going to do though, because I want to, I'm actually going to leave out the eyes. I'm going to like leave holes where my eyes are. So I'll be able to very easily see through the mask, but hopefully it will blend with my face really well because I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to sculpt a face across this face of mine. I'm going to leave some voids in this face to allow it to fit my face and also allow it to be very comfortable. I'm using the casting of me with my mouth open so I have a little more room in the chin. And once I complete the sculpt out of an oil-based clay, I will make a negative plaster mold of this mask, and then I will do a papier-mâché mask inside that plaster mold. That's the goal. It's going to take, it's more than one day. It's more than one day. I have a couple meetings today. I'm not going to get it done, but we get started. Sculpting is not my bailiwick. Sculpting is not my thing. I've said it a lot, but at the same time, I have enough experience with the replication of shapes that lately I've been doing just a little bit of sculpting here and there, and it's felt like I kind of understand it more than I think I do. Yeah, let's get started. Oh my God, that smell. I haven't used oil-based clay in a long time. Oh, right. What are the extents of this mask? It's gonna be like... All right, I'm really pleased with where we're at. I'm not making a silicone appliance, so I don't need a crazy amount of detail. I'm gonna lose a bunch in the papier-mâché, which is fine. I'm just trying to get the topography right. And I've got a character here. I mean, I definitely have like a person and their face is aging and, you know, I'm pleased with how it's looking. It's, I mean, yeah. Let's get rid of the cleft. The cleft is a very masculine kind of moment. Let's get rid of it. Okay. I mean, I guess there are things I don't know about men's and women's faces that I should know, because I've ended up with something that feels like a man's face, but it could also be an old woman. I don't know. I'm back from my phone call, and I was looking over at this thing, and this is too sharp. I think I want more of a triangular cheek pocket here rather than this. So on the side, it's looking like, it's not looking like it. Yeah, just my approach to this is not based on like any deep knowledge of human physiology. It's really more based on like what I notice. So as I look at it, I'm like basically just constantly trying to see what draws my eye as right or wrong, and then moving accordingly. So yeah, I think I really, you look at the shadow here. I've got this real space pocket under here. I think I just want to extend this cheek fat a little bit. That's all. The other thing I'm noticing is I'm trying to make it mostly bilaterally symmetrical. That is, that each side matches each other. But I'm not being crazy about that. Sometimes I'm letting details stand that are not bilaterally symmetrical. Oh, God, that's a significant improvement. So this is kind of how I build everything. It's like, look at the high spots, look at the things that draw my attention, and either augment them or get rid of them, depending on how they're drawing my attention. Damn. That is really significant how much that improved kind of look. And this jowly thing over here is great. I downloaded some pictures, some stock photography of some really beautiful old faces that I find highly compelling and really neat looking. And then I'm just trying to, you know, copy some details across that I'm noticing from them. Like this lady has really interesting creases at the bridge of her nose. I'm just going to play around with that and try that here. Let's see. And yeah, I think I need a little more of a bridge here between on each side of the nose. Again, it is like I look at it and I have no idea how to approach it as a totality. I just keep on noticing I keep on noticing that on a face, there's a little more of a bridge between the side of the nose and the where the cheek meets it. And here I've got a barrier all along. So I'm just going to remove that barrier here. Kind of drag this eye bag up into the nose, as it were. I'm making the surround so I can cast this in plaster. Okay, that's actually pretty reasonable. Yeah. I'm gonna put a little bit more right in here. This is like the Beetlejuice view. One of my all-time favorite special effects shots in any movie is the point at which Beetlejuice turns around to Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin and goes, bleh! And all you see is all this crap appear on either side of his face. You never see what his actual face looks like. So good. So good. I have completed the mold barrier. And I know he looks a little like the Emperor, but this is a Bene Gesserit. And when I get the right makeup on it, the right paint job, and I get it in the thing, I don't have doubts that I'll be able to make this look right. There's really something fundamental about men's and women's faces that I think I don't understand, which is totally reasonable because this is like the second time I have ever sculpted a face. I'm very pleased. I think it looks really, really good. And so the next phase is I'm going to take some Vaseline as a mold release, and I'm just going to paint it here in the eye holes so that the plaster that I put over this doesn't stick to it. And I'm also going to paint the Vaseline around the edges here. And then I'm going to lay this down and I'm going to cover it with a plaster mold. Then I'm going to pull that mold off and I'll let it dry. I'll let it dry for a few days so that it is completely water free. And then we're going to do some papier-mâché. I'm really kind of excited by this. I may mess with the lip here, but yeah, at this resolution, you can kind of see the hand of the maker. You can see my sculpture marks. I mean, it's okay. Like, I've worked directly next to some amazing sculptors at Industrial Light and Magic, and I can tell this is leagues away from real quality work, but I am really pleased with how it came out. I do feel like that's a interesting topography of a face. It feels like a character. I'm still worried about that lip. I'm just not sure about the lip. Anyway, it should fit really neatly on my head. Let's talk about mixing plaster again. I'm mixing hydrocal, but the rules are the same. Hydrocal is a type of gypsum-based plaster that's ceramically hard. I am simply doing what's called the shake and bake method. I have a certain amount of water. I am adding powder to the water, kind of sifting it. You could actually use a sifter if you wanted. That's a reasonable way to do it. And I'm simply putting in the plaster until I get a little island. Can you smell? I think I should do a whole video just about mixing. Do I need to do a video about mixing plaster? I mean, here's it is. I've lost all ability to speak. Okay. I'm just going to mix this plaster. Sorry. So what you're doing is you sift it in until you get a little island. You'll see when you start to get a little island. What you want to do is keep sifting it in until that island stops disappearing. Then you have a ratio of a reasonable amount of saturation of plaster product to water. It's still eating up the island, but we're close. And you get a wide range of strength out of plaster depending on the ratio. Like, you don't have to worry too much about messing up the ratio and somehow not getting it right, because there's a lot of room. All right, I'm going to add just a little bit more. And my goal is to mix this without imparting too much air into it. So I'm going to mix it very, very slowly and just do a real stir. The powder and the water want to get together. They have a desire for a mutually beneficial relationship. What's going to happen is the water is going to react with the chemical compounds in the gypsum, creating an exothermic reaction that will then help steam the water out at the same time as it hardens the plaster. Okay, so let's get a brush on this equation. Yeah. Okay, I hate these cups. I'm going to throw them out, the ones I bought, because they crush. You can't hold them in the middle here. That's lame. That's lame. This is just the surface coat, and this is the one I'll be careful with. This hopefully will be the coat that has no bubbles in it, so I can cast papier-mâché or latex or whatever I want into here. I didn't think I'd get this done today. I mean, I haven't gotten it done yet, but I'm farther along than I thought I was going to be. That's for sure. I could have done this with normal plaster. I actually ordered some. I just, when you have hydrocal, your molds are going to last longer. That's all. No nostril holes because I'm going to install those later. I don't need to worry about them now. Once I do this, I'll hit it with a little bit of air, and that will help create high pressure on the outside of the plaster and hopefully bring air bubbles from where they might be hugging the surface of my model to the surface of the plaster, and thus I end up with hopefully a smooth surface. This will also start to thicken up as I use it, and that will work for me because I'll start to thicken up the coat that I put on. Specifically, I think with this stuff, I'll work on the coat around the perimeter, and then I'll start working on the face with the next batch. And I'm going to mix the next batch of plaster much thicker than this batch, and that'll allow me to get a real dimensional mold. You know, I want it to be a certain thickness all the way around so it has some stability. I plan to use this mold for a long time. I would like to be able to use it for a long time. I love this smell. Plaster is just one of the great substances to work with, to be clear, really. This is adding a little bit of vibration just to kind of help it all settle. Ooh, I hate these cups. When it starts to harden, the stuff that's down and thicker starts to harden first, and then when you put new stuff on top of it, it tends to like pull the water out and harden that up really quickly too. Why did I turn the camera on so you could watch me chew? What a jerk. Well, it's all going quite swimmingly, I must admit. I think I can start to peel pieces of this backing off and expose some of the righteous topography of my plaster. Righteous topography. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Sorry, I'm a little punchy. Because it's just for various reasons. I was stressed today, and then the thing I was stressed about went better than I thought it was going to go, and so I'm feeling a little better. But you know, stress is a roller coaster. I didn't know how this was going to go, and I'm really pleased with how it's going. So I'm feeling a little giddy. I was gonna wrap up and go home, and I cleaned up a bit, and then I touched the plaster, and I realized, oh, it's very, very dry. Maybe dry enough to maybe dry enough to separate. And there we are. Ooh, grungy. It's like all covered with Vaseline. Must have been what it was like to live with Matthew Barney at one point in time. There's a deep cut for you. While the plaster is still relatively soft, it's hard enough to pull the backing off. Oh, I'm plating it fast and loose to be sure, but you can actually get a really nice cleaned up mold if you ride it as I did. You know, keep on smoothing it as it dries. If you look at some of someone like Rick Baker's molds, they just do such beautiful work because like the clean mold is a clean life, you know? I am not a casting and mold making expert, but my friends at ILM will tell you I spent lots of time peppering them with questions in the mold room about the best way to do certain things. And that was one of the things I loved, man. It was like going to school. It was great. Yeah, I know. I'm dulling the crap out of this knife. That's fine. So now, question is, I kind of want to... I see movement. Yep, it's moving. I think we're going to be able to get this off. Wow. Wow. Look at that. What? All the clay. That's amazing. Incredible. Now this is all warm. And I'm going to pull it now, I think, while it's warm, because I think it'll be easier. Well, maybe not, actually. Wow. So, there you go. There is the negative of my old man mask. That is my very first papier-mâché negative mold. This is really neat because the figure, like the warm clay is like pulled away from the face and it's like, looks even better. It's like one of those Planet Terror masks almost. All right. Oy, you need some help, don't you? I'm going to deal with you later. It has been a few days since I took the stone mold off of my old person. Ooh. That looks neat. Since I took the stone mold off the old person face, this is an optical illusion that's happening here, but ooh, yeah, it's totally. Anyway, I have been nervous about starting the papier-mâché because I'm trying a very specific technique. I've got this plaster mold. I'm going to do papier-mâché inside of it. I don't want it to stick. So I went searching for some people who had written up instructions on papier-mâché, and I came across this wonderful tutorial on puppets and papier-mâché. And it turns out to be this tutorial by my friend, master puppeteer, Mary Robinette Cowell. Amazing. I like read the whole thing, and then I'm like, who wrote? I know them. Amazing. I called her up and said, I'm about to use your techniques. And I'm very optimistic about this, but I'm also spooked. I just, new techniques. You want them to go well. I have, one of the great things about papier-mâché is how structural and light it is. And also, because it's paper, it's just a phenomenal material. And Mary Robinette, it will include a link to her tutorial in the below. But one of the things she says is people keep thinking that you can do better than papier-mâché for puppets, like maybe vacuum form or plastic or whatever. But it turns out that papier-mâché it's really hard to beat. It's super lightweight. It is highly structural. So what we're going to do is I am going to be using. I'll walk you through the plan. The plan is to lay down a barrier coat of facial tissue. We lay it down in the mask and make sure it has coverage. Then we give it a spritz with water so it sort of hugs the thing. And that's our barrier coat. That's our mold release. I know. I had no idea this was a thing. Then we take brown paper bags and we tear them into some strips and we wet them down with some universal wheat wallpaper paste because Mary Robinette recommends the wheat paste specifically because of the way the sugars in here will bond with the cellulose. Damn it. Cellulose. I'll get the door. Right. Wheat paste, brown paper. I'm going to do about 3 layers. And then I'm going to put it in a lab oven at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit and let it dry out. Yeah. So by the end of today, we should be able to see the first pull of my papier-mâché old lady face. I'm so excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I've torn up my paper. There are, per the instructions from Mary Robinette, the edges are all torn. There are no straight edges. This helps the fibers grab each other. Here is the powdered wallpaper paste. Okay. Small amount of water into the pan. I hate these cups. I'm not sure about this. She wants me to sprinkle the stuff in here, but I want to get my consistency first. So I'm going to get mixing up. Cream of wheat or melted milkshake. That's the consistency we're apparently looking for. Yes, the paste seems to be hygroscopic, right? It like wants to grab the water and the molecules want to expand. Oh, but now we're in the cream of wheat phase. Now I understand. Now I can see what it's wanting to do. Yeah. All right. That's definitely cream of wheat. Ooh, that's fast too. Get a little more water. Yeah, that's great. Those are... Oh, right. Whoops. Almost forgot. So we're going to put in the barrier coat. Here, let's get this going. This is going to be the barrier coat. And I guess I'm going to need... Let's see, we'll do that. Wow, I'm actually cutting. No, that doesn't work. Okay, there's that. There's that. Okay, now that that's there, I'm going to give it a spritz with the bottle. Hey. Oh, hey, okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little lost here. It's just not sticking down with the alacrity that I was hoping. So I'm just going to go on individual pieces here. And this apparently is one of the reasons that the facial tissue is so good, because it's actually meant to be able to be moistened and still have some structural integrity. Oh, there's a, okay, I got to get deep into the nose, clearly. Okay, sure. Let's see what we can do. So I'm going to get some on this and I'm going to crumple it up. So with each piece, I'm getting a little bit of glue on it. Then I'm rubbing it all over it. Then I'm crumpling it. Then I'm opening it back up. And this is apparently helping the glue get into all the fibers in here. And this first layer is the one in which you apparently want to be really careful and neat with, but then subsequent layers. So I'm getting just a little bit on one part of there, just dip there. That's all, the rest is dry. So I'm kind of wetting one corner. Then I'm crumpling it up, really working it and getting the glue all in that paper, and then opening it back up again.
I'm working really hard here to make sure that I've got paper pushed into every detail that I can. All right, so now I'm going to start doing the second layer. And the second layer, I'm going to do around the perimeter here. I'm going to make, I want the edge to be structural. So let's get that going. Let's get a strip around the perimeter. Okay, so I've gone around the perimeter here. I would move the camera, but my hands are awful. So we're just gonna suffer through this one together. Let's get this brow ridge. That's what this will be. I'll tell you, when you get that paper all really infused with this stuff, it fundamentally changes color, but it also lays down much more, lays down across compound contours much better. Okay, I still only have one layer across much of the face, but I've been building up some structure around that so I can... I won't displace too many things while putting in these secondary layers. So here comes the bottom of the chin. It's a fundamental layer. I'm also working hard to squeeze out the glue wherever there's excess, because in general with binders like this is effectively a kind of a quick and dirty fiberglass technique is what this really is. I'm using a holding material, i.e. the glue, as a matrix for securing the polymer chains inherent in the paper. And all right, let's do this, the stiff upper lip. I guess when you do this after 3 or 4 tries on the same model, you end up really understanding how it wants to structurally be laid in. So this is, I'm creeping up on I'm finishing up the second layer. And again, I think we're probably going to do 1 or 2 more. I think I really have managed to get some good coverage and some good detail hammered in there. All right, so let's layer in the last layer. The second layer I did from the inside out. The first layer I did from the inside out. Second layer from the outside in. Third layer is going to be from the inside out. Just on the theory that there are aspects to this I'm somehow not paying attention to, or not quite realizing as robustly as I planned. the designer Gaudi of the beautiful Gaudi style of the Sagrada de Familia in Barcelona. Gaudi loved papier-mâché as an architectural medium, and it's frequently visible in his designs. We visited one of his houses in Barcelona where the whole ceiling had been done repeatedly in this vine pattern of papier-mâché. My God, it was so beautiful. I sent some pictures to Richard Taylor at What a Workshop. He was very familiar with the process. I think the next time I tear paper, I'm going to tear wider strips. I would like a little more coverage, and I guess each piece is going to be individual in the kind of strips that it mostly likes, which is totally understandable. I don't know. I said I was going to follow one kind of plan, and now I'm kind of following a different kind of plan, but yeah, I'm just getting that third layer. I think my whole forehead is down and part of the right side of the face. Now we're moving. I want to. Yeah. Okay, now I have to do the hard part of the nose and under the nose, under the eyes. Let's get that. Go the nose from the now I'm seeing almost no more movement, which is great. I think that nose is actually thick enough. Let's go in and lay some more around the perimeter. To the bottom of the chin. Actually, I think that's a nice forehead piece. Okay, I don't know. I think I've reached the end here. I hope I've done a reasonable job. It's weird how much I feel like it still looks like me, even in this iteration. Were you having the same thought? My first attempt at modern professional papier-mâché. I used to do papier-mâché all the time, but it was always newspaper and stuff. And my papier-mâché has never been amazing. I'm hoping I'm moving towards amazing with this. So we're going to take this mold and we're going to stick it in my lab oven, which is currently at 200 degrees. Ow, that's hot. So I know I left it open for way too long, but that's not that big a deal. We'll let that set. Clean up a little bit. It's been about an hour. Let's pop this out. Let's take a look. So I can still see some steam rising off of this. One of the pieces of advice that Mary Robinette had in her piece was to make sure that you pull it out when it's leathery, quote unquote.
Leathery. That is so leathery.
Okay. Oh, see? See the steam? Can you see it? Let's just see if the thing pulls out like this. Ooh, it certainly does. Oh, 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 ooh, 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 oh, oh, oh. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so cool. Oh my God. I I suspected this might happen. What is happening? I'm getting smitten. I'm smitten with the process. I don't think it's the last time I'll muck with this process. Boy, that is absolutely the truth about the tensile strength of facial tissue. The irony is not lost on me that my very first claim to fame was to star in a Charmin commercial with Mr. Whipple, in which we were both exclaiming about the wet strength. Seriously, that was a line in the commercial before they changed it. About the wet strength of Charmin. All right. Now, I probably should let this sit longer, but I'm so impatient and I'm so like excited. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the tissue paper out and I'm going to rest this back down in here because that's the best way to get the shape. I'm no longer worried about it baking itself into the piece. Do I want to do that or do I just want to do that? Actually, I think that's what I want to do. Okay, putting it back in just like this. I'm so excited. Well, it's going to be another probably half hour, 45 minutes before it's hardened up enough. But, dude, God, I should almost make a second one right away. I am not going to. I don't have the energy right now. But so far, the detail that I pulled out looks pretty incredible. I want to make a marionette. I want to make things. Well, I mean, I figured out, like, I've been thinking about this for weeks, this old lady mask and how it's going to match to my eyes and somehow, well, I'm just curious. All right. So I see why you want the front layer to be neat. I've got some folds here, but you know what? Those actually might end up working for old person wrinkles. Old person wrinkles, of which I already have a bunch. So yeah, it'll just fit right in. I think that, actually, I'm gonna put this back in the oven, let it sit for another little bit. What's funny is that when I do this, I can't see what it looks like, but you can. The mask is out. It's a great first pass. I am using that tool, this little wire brush for the Dremel, is doing a great job at removing the toilet paper. So let us keep going. I'm quite happy. I'm not sure I look like an old lady, but you know, it's a mask. It's a functional mask. It's super lightweight, 3 layers, just about right. This one hasn't dried enough. It's got some stuff, but I'm just going to give it a coat of paint to kind of get to know it. I'll probably run another in the mold. That's pretty much guaranteed, but right now I just want to be able to see this thing, and I'll see it better if I get a coat of like darker skin tone on it, just something. there we go. Yellow, red, green, and some white. And I end up with a pretty reasonable skin tone for this old rod. All right. All I was doing was adding a little bit of red paint where the lips were and where lines were in the face. It's like an old theater makeup technique. And then I was going back over that with the flesh color to kind of make it feel a little more bruised and, you know, a little more human. We are irregular, slowly rotting beasts after all. Yeah. Now I'm going to try it on, and there's a reasonable chance that some acrylic will end up on my face. We'll see.
Well, no one's going to recognize me, that's for sure.
All right. I think I understand a lot more about how this works. I'm a little bit messy. And I'm a little bit rock and roll. That's the end of today. Tomorrow, I may run it one more time.